Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the next step in what we're doing with the website design. And it's pretty simple, and it's really not going to use anything that you haven't done already. You guys are relatively familiar with Photoshop. I know we've taken some time off from it and everything like that, but this should be pretty good. So we're going to be in Photoshop, as you can see, and the thing you can do is you're going to make a new file. This is how we're going to lay out our website design. I'm just going to kind of lay it out. So I'm just going to call this website and design, and then I'm going to go here. And now here's where our width comes in really important. When we talked about how we set up our the width of our website already in Dreamweaver is 960 pixels, and the 960 pixel standard is something that we'll talk about in the next couple of days. What you want to do is you actually want to make this a little wider just for the layout. At least that's what I like to do. So I'm going to give myself an extra 20 pixels on either side by going to 1000 pixels. Now, one of the important things is if Photoshop is actually set up the way it was before, you might be set to inches here, okay? So you can kind of see right here where it's set to inches. Just going to go and change that to pixels, okay? Just so that you're set right away to that. And we're going to go 1000 pixels, okay? Now the height is tough to do, but I'm going to do the math really quickly. And in our previous thing, we had 125 pixels for the header, 500 pixels for the content, and 75 pixels for the footer. So what that equals out is 700 pixels. So again, I'm going to give myself a little extra, and actually let's just make it a square. Sometimes I just like to design in a square. Now, lastly, you want to make sure that your resolution is set to 72. It's very likely going to be still set to 300. We need to make sure that our resolution is set to 72 pixels per inch, that our color mode is RGB and 8-bit, and that our background contents are transparent. Don't need to worry about anything advanced or whatever. And you'll see that the image size is actually going to be pretty small, but that's okay. So what we'll do right here is we're just going to click OK. And give it a second. Here comes our website design. Now, one of the important things to realize is when you're designing something. Now I'm on my laptop right now, so the monitor's a little small. But one of the things that's really important is this right here, where it gives you, it says the name of the file, and then it's going to say 50%. And it may not say 50%. It may say 66.7. It may say 100. It may say whatever. What this is this is telling you that right now this is half size on the monitor. That in order to do real size, I'd have to hit Command plus twice, and then you can see it really kind of takes over the whole screen. So the design that we're doing, because I'm on my laptop, it's actually going to look really big. When you guys go to the iMacs that we have in class, it's actually going to be pretty small. So anyway. That's okay. Just, design it at whatever you want, but just realize that it's not real size. So what you see here and what I'm showing you in the demo, that's actually going to be a little smaller. It's going to look smaller than anything else. One of the other things that I want you to do is I want you to go up to View, and I want you to turn Rulers on so you can see where it's checked. And you can see that they go off, and I already had them on, so turn them on. And then also you definitely want the units to be in pixels, and if they're not, or you don't know they are, what you want to do is you want to go to your preferences, and you want to go to units and rulers, and you want to set your rulers to pixels right there. Okay, click OK. Usually that's the default for Photoshop, and we haven't messed around with that a lot lately. This is going to help us a lot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set what we call rules, guides basically, to kind of give us a sense of where we had set the header and the footer to be. Now, remember I said that the height of the header and the footer and the content can change depending upon your design. So we can move these things, but I think it's good to get a sense of what we kind of set up already. And then if you go a little bit more, a little bit less, it's okay. It's not a big deal. We just want to, be careful. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go, and right here there should be a little button. You should see one that says Info. Now if you don't see that, you should go to the window, and our info is right in the middle, and you're going to hit that. And then what this is going to do, if you see right here under the X and Y, see how it's giving me the coordinates of my mouse? This is going to help us out a lot. So I'm going to go up to the top ruler, and I'm going to drag out, click and drag, and this is going to give me my first guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I remember our header was about 125, so I'm going to go down to 125. Now already I'm seeing this and I'm going, wow, this is not a lot. The other thing is you'll notice I can't get to 125. I can 124 or 126. It's like, really? But yeah, sometimes if you're zoomed out, you can't do that. So I'm going to let go of 126, okay? And then I can actually zoom in. I'm going to go to full screen mode here, hit F, go to full screen. Now I can drag it around. And I can zoom in on this guy, and now I should be able to use the move tool, and when I get over it, you can see how the cursor changes there over the blue bar. Now I can drag it, and now I can get it right on 125. And you know what? 1 pixel, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but when you're doing CSS for the website, sometimes that extra pixel can make the math really hard. Speaking as a non-math person, 1 pixel off can really screw things up. So I just like to keep things in multiples of 5 just to make things easier. So now I'm going to keep doing that. So if I've got 125 and I had made my content, remember we made our content minimum height of 500. Now obviously the content's going to change back and forth depending upon how much stuff is in your web page. It might be over 1,500 pixels long. But our min height was 500. So we're going to design it with that min height in there. And you can see that one of the major problems is when I go full screen, I lose my ruler over here on the left, which drives me nuts. I think they should just push this out immediately when you go full screen. But there we go. So now I can see my ruler on the left, and I still have my info window, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to go back up, and 125 plus 500 is 625. Even I can do that math. I'm not very good at math, but I can do that one. So we're just going to go here to 625, and now I've got it. So 625, and we made our footer 75, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to make our footer 75 after that. Now actually, you can do this 2 ways. What I might actually do, just to make it easier, since I made it 1,000 pixels long, you know what, instead of just adding it, let's just go down here, 1,000 pixels, minus 75 means 925 pixels. So I'm just going to go to 925 there. Now our content area right here in the middle is going to be a little bit bigger than what we actually are designing our min height for. But you know what? It's going to give you a nice sense of what a good average website with decent amount of content could be 1,000 pixels tall. So this will give you a good sense of how we're designing it. The other thing that we need to do is remember we made this too wide. We made this 1,000 pixels wide, and we only need 960. So I've got 20 pixels on either side that are a little extra space. And you can also add more later, and I'll show you how to do that. But I'm just going to go over to my ruler here, and I'm going to drag another rule over, and I'm going to go to 20. See here, I can't get to 20. I can only get 19 or 21. That's frustrating. Let's zoom in. And now I should be able to get to 20. There we go. Okay, so that should be at... Let's try that again. At 20. Sometimes I can move the mouse just a pixel by when I let go of the button. So you got to be careful. So now we're going to move it over here, and we will go to 1,000 minus 20, which will be 980, not 960. Now here's the thing: a lot of you might just click this and go, "Woohoo, 960! There I go." But remember, we took 20 out of the left side. Okay. So I'm just giving us like margins on either side. So really it's 980 here is where you want to put that. So now, with these rules like this, I've got basically a good setup for my website. Now as you start to design, you may say, you know what, Mr. Weisbrod, this 125 pixel header, it's too small. I need 150. Or you might even need 200. I mean, I've had headers that are that big before and websites that I've done. So that's fine. 200 pixels can work. But just be mindful of the fact that when you have that many pixels of stuff, let's shrink this. If I go to 100% here, plus on view. If I go to 100% here, okay, which is right here, you'll notice, I mean, it gets pretty wide. I'm actually not even sure I'm at 100% quite yet. Oh, I am. Okay. There we go. So, you know, you don't always have a lot of room to work with, but we can continue adding space to the sides if we want. But 960 looks good. I mean, this is a laptop screen that I'm recording here, and so 960 is pretty good. And what I was saying also, that's width-wise. Height-wise, if you go much past like 200, you'll notice your header is going to take up a large amount of your website, and so people won't necessarily be able to get to the content of the website either. Now, the way that we're going to do the header will also include the menu bar too. So if you had tacked the menu bar on there, definitely probably 125 is too small, but we'll get there. So now you've got your layout, and here's where, you know, it becomes old hat for you guys. You want to start doing the stuff that you've always done. So we're going to start designing. Got our layers out here, okay, and you can start with a logo. So I'm going to just start with a square, and I can, you know, do a black square, and you know, if I was doing my website, you know, for widespread imaging again, I might just take a text and oh, I hate it when it does that. I hate it when it goes in and makes a text box the same size as the shape beneath it. So I'll grab a text here, do a nice W that's in white. Hey, it was already in white. That's nice. And then change the font. You know, so here's a logo. Oop, that needs to be way bigger than that. And do a nice, you know, just make a simple logo. Something scripty. How does that look? That's a little bit too much for me, but we'll just keep it. You know, and maybe I say, you know what, I don't like this shape. I don't want that shape, so I'm going to trash the shape. And maybe I go for circle instead. I think that would probably look a lot better. Whoops, now it's on top. Drag it under. Double click. Put a stroke around the layer. You know, right now the stroke is black. Let's make it white. I'm going boring here with these colors. You know, and maybe I make a background color. And for now, actually, we do need to talk about backgrounds. Right now, for backgrounds, let's just go with a solid color. Just think about a solid color. You know, so maybe I'll make a nice bluish color here. Nice pale blue. Something in here. And it's a little there. Something like that. Okay. Just fill a layer with a solid color. If you're planning on using a photograph or something like that, then I will do lessons on how to take care of those things. But you know, it's for now. Let's just use a solid color. I kind of like how that's leading into there. That's kind of nice. It's a little empty there, but that's okay. And then I could, you know, add some more text here and widespread imaging. Okay, and it's right justified. Let's left justify it. Put that there. Hey, maybe I get rid of the W and just use the W that's already in the logo. Ooh, tricky. And I'm just designing this on the fly. I had absolutely no concept of what I was planning on doing. So there might be a nice header. Actually, I really don't like the scripty look, but that's okay. And then you might want to think about, okay, what am I doing for my menu bar? I mean, maybe your menu bar is a nice, simple rectangle. So I'll back away a little bit here and just start with a nice rectangle. And oh, that's interesting. Still got the blue color, so let's go to a white rectangle, maybe. And let's get rid of the stroke that's on it because I don't need that. And this could make a really, you know, a nice simple menu bar. You know, and little considerations will start to come into play. Like, do you want this menu bar to stretch all the way to end, or do you want it to end at the 960 and just be like a floating box? I mean, those are actually really important decisions. And we'll go over demos on how you can do a menu bar that stretches all the way across the screen versus one that doesn't, and so on and so forth. So now I'm looking at this going, okay, great, where's my content area? And what I can do is I really should start naming things. So, you know, here's the W. This is like the logo shape. This is my background color. Okay, okay. And here we've got, this is the menu bar, and I'll put BG for background. You know, and I'm starting to organize things. So now I'm starting to look at, okay, what do I need here? Oh, I need a content thing. So let's go here and let's do a content box. And I'll oftentimes draw the content box starting right up underneath the menu bar a little bit so that I can move the menu bar around a little bit later and, you know, do stuff that I want. You know, okay, you know, white's kind of boring. What's a good color for the, like, kind of, whoa. Like maybe an off yellowish color, kind of like a grayish yellow. That could be nice. Let the menu bar stand out. Maybe I want the menu bar to have a drop shadow. I deleted that drop shadow. But maybe I want it to have a drop shadow. Oh, so now the drop shadow is not showing up because my content box is above it. So let's bring the content box underneath. Oh boy, yeah, that's a little bit dramatic. You know, so, but, you know, little things like that. How do I want this to pop, you know, off of this? I'm going to take global light off. I want my drop shadow just to be straight up and down, you know, so that it's not going off the side. If I do want a drop shadow off the side, that's going to go outside the 960. So what do? Well, really, probably should just bring everything in 5 or, you know, 10 pixels on either side, and you just deal with a little less space. You know, but you're getting the idea now. I'm starting to really design what my website is going to be. You don't need to worry about putting text in the content box. We're just kind of laying it out. So as you can see, now that I've got a good start to this. You know, obviously there's some major problems. The logo is kind of ugly. I don't like the script. This is kind of empty. What's going to go over here? Does everything need to go over here? Maybe it goes all the way over to the right. You don't have to design it exactly like I do. Maybe I don't want a menu bar. Maybe I just want a series of buttons across the content area. So I'll turn that off. I mean, you know, the nice thing is here too. I mean, you've got your sketches. You've sketched out your websites. But now what you can do is you can really play with how you want stuff. You're going to start changing things. Your sketches were plans, but that you don't have to keep it all the same. You know, you can really start to work with it here and change things and change colors and go, oh yeah, I want this or I want that, or, you know, whatever. So anyway, that's basically our next job is we're going to lay out our website. We're just going to start placing elements where we want them. You know, so we've got a 1,000 by 1,000 pixel square file, and we make our guides by clicking up here and dragging them down, and we know where we are by using the info window. Okay, and zooming in and zooming out if you can't quite get to 125, whatever the end, you know, case may be, and just try and keep everything in multiples of 5s so that the math is easier later on for you if that's a concern. It is for me, so so anyway, that should get you started for the next couple of days, because it's going to take a little while for you to kind of get all these things put together. But once we got them all set up, and I'm going to show you how we start to save them in our in little pieces basically, and then reassemble the design in HTML with our template. Okay, so this should hopefully this will get you started, and we'll just I'm excited to see how these designs start to come together.